Hey players, this is Friaza and welcome to my new series Onepiece Kaizoku Musou Roblox. In this series I'll be showing how I went about making things and how the game works. The first things I considered before I even started creating the game was how I would make the characters, because I really didn't want to repeat my character making routine from my Naruto game, where you have to click the character on a GUI and then you've got scripts all over the place and the parts of the attacks are in lighting folder. It's just a mess, so I want everything to be in one efficient script. And so the morphs are, and all of the attacks and their damages are in one efficient script builder script. The events of the game will take place post Grand Line between episode 1 till 50. The final boss will probably be White Chase Smoker, and the first will be Alvida. The first character created was Sanji, because I didn't have a clear idea of the game's storyline or timeline. A few of his attacks are from after the time skipped or during the Grand Line part of the story. The playable characters in the game will be Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Sanji, Usopp. Did I miss any? Yeah, Zoro. Luffy and Zoro will be the main characters of the game, and the others being used for diversity, so that you're not always using the same characters. Partially due to me accidentally overwriting the original Usopp, which was awesome and even had his long nose, and also because Sanji's moves are mostly not in sync with the timeline. With Diable Jambe, Pole a Freire and Skywalk, which are after time skip or Grand Line, as Diable Jambe was first used in Jabura and not anywhere near the time line of the game. First on the list of characters is Sanji. His weakest attack is normal kick, which cycles between left and right kicks, also moving his arms outwards. They give a bit more animation and not as laid back. His second attack is Mouton Shot, which is basically like a high dashing kick, which also makes him do a backflip after the kick finishes or when he hits a target, which is pretty cool, and also sometimes makes him fly upwards like that. The problem is his latter attacks, which are Diable Jambe and Diable Jambe Pour a Freire, which are after Grand Line events or during Grand Line events, and also Skywalk, which is after the time skip. I'll show you them anyway just in case you're really curious. I might add them as a DLC, or I'm sure I could get away with throwing in Diable Jambe. I'm sure like nobody's really will be that annoyed at seeing his attack a little early. I mean, it's just a game after all. No, don't fly off the map. That's just my luck. I need the test dummy there to use this final attack. Pole a Freire only works if you have a target on screen and won't activate unless your mouse is over an enemy. It can also work in conjunction with Skywalk. I have to admit, I'm really proud of Skywalk. The next character I'll be showing you is Zoro, who uses the free sword style technique, where he attacks with free swords. He alternates between left and right slash, also moving his neck sword appropriately and almost cutting his own hand off at one point. So let's waddle over there to the test dummy Sanji and show what his techniques. Once again, it does low damage because it's the weakest technique, although he should be a bit stronger than that considering he's using swords and not his leg. But I want all characters, I want Luffy, Sanji and Zoro to be like the same strength, lowest attack wise at least. His second weakest attack is Onigiri, where he blasts forward and crosses his swords over it while slicing his neck across. All three swords do damage, and it can actually do quite good damage if hit directly, blasting the opponent backwards often. You first get to use Zoro in Chapter 2 of my game, which is the Buggy the Clown arc, where Zoro first fights Buggy, which doesn't make sense if you know the story, where Luffy's the one that fights Buggy, but who cares. The second strongest attack, or third weakest attack, whatever you prefer, is Santoiru Ogi Sanzen Zekai, which is like the attack he uses on Mihawk, Dracula Mihawk, and I think it means 1000 worlds, where he spins two of his swords around and slices his neck across. And if you do it while facing backwards, it looks like he's a propeller van. That's quite a cool technique. And his most powerful technique is £36 cannon, where he slashes his golden sword across and shoots a massive wave of air at the opponents, blasting them backwards. Which will be the last attack he unlocks. When you first use Zoro, he has Onigiri in his basic attack when against Buggy. Then later on in the Barate, when he fights Dracula Mihawk, he unlocks Santoiru Ogi Sanzen Sekai. And then afterwards in the next arc, which I'm not sure what it will be, probably the Arlong arc, or the Kuro arc, I think the Arlong arc, he'll unlock £36 cannon. The next character is Monkey D. Luffy, and if you haven't noticed, I made all the clothes for the characters, which is a pretty cool, except Nami, because I didn't make Nami's clothes. I made all the clothes in 2009, so it was merely coincidence. Luffy's weakest attack is his basic punch, which is like no stretch back, so it doesn't go very far or do a lot of damage, but it's very fast, and once again does about 10 damage, but it is significantly better range than the other characters because it attacks. Except Usopp, because he's a long range character, but you haven't seen him yet. His second weakest attack is an alternation between pistol and stamp, so this is stamp, and next he'll use pistol. And it also alternates between his hands, so whoops, that was stamp again. He'll use like left pistol, right stamp, right pistol, left stamp, and alternate like that. It is very good range too. If you look where my mouse is, it goes all the way over there. His second strongest attack is Bazooka, which where he pulls his arms back and then blasts forward, shooting his opponents away. Usually, but for some reason it doesn't work in this test dummy, but it works in game, so that's cool. His strongest attack, which isn't in the game until the Mihawk arc, or for Luffy it should be Dawn Creek in the Barate, where you first meet Sanji. So he first unlocks this Gatling gun while fighting Dawn Creek. It hasn't really been like tested yet in game, so I'll probably do the nerfing later, but it is pretty cool so far. The next character I'll be showing you is Usopp. You may be wondering where his nose is. I actually made Usopp twice. I made Usopp before Nami, and after Luffy, and then lost Usopp by accidentally overwriting Nami with Usopp. I mean Usopp with Nami. So I had to remake him, and wasn't very motivated because he was wasn't a very important character in the events of the Grand Line. I mean prior to the Grand Line, so I didn't spend much time in it this time. But you can shoot anywhere. It basically just shoots projectiles where your mouse is facing. And the velocity quickly vanishes. He has Namari Boshi, which is the lead star, and then he has Kaien Boshi. Although he keeps saying Namari Boshi after Kaien Boshi, I forgot to remove that wee bug, but Usopp isn't really an important character at this point in the game. Although I am disappointed to have lost his nose and his Usopp hammer, which I had made before, but that's fine, because he doesn't use that until after the Grand Line anyway, so not much of a loss. The final character is Nami, who has 2 attacks, but I guess you could say technically 3. Nami has a staff as a weapon. Her weakest attack is a normal kick. I made it very random, like the time it takes to go up, the loop amount, the loop speed, the delay time, to make it look a lot clumsier than Sanji's kick, because I don't want her to look like some kicking professional like Sanji. So it's very like unbalanced looking. Her well, she has an alternation of this technique. Normally she just kicks, but if you're jumping and use it, she says yeah, and then like her staff shoots down too, and does damage. It does a lot more damage when you use this. You can see it doesn't do much damage with the normal kick, but if I do this, the opponent falls down and it does quite a bit of damage. And that's why she has technically 3 attacks, although I've only shown you 2 so far. Her second strongest attack, her strongest attack, sorry, is her staff smack, where she lifts her staff above her head, sliding it across her hand, and then slams down with the end of the staff, giving it a bit more range and doing quite high damage, killing my test dummy in 3 hits. Also, if you jump and use it, it becomes like an underarm staff, which gives it a lot more range because it shoots out at the peak of its range. Whereas then if you do the normal hit, it recedes as she slashes, which makes the range go back to normal. So I guess you could say she technically has 4 attacks, but I guess it's very subjective. Well, that's all the characters that I've made, so next time I will go on and show you the actual game itself. Goodbye players, thanks for watching. If you want to see a video similar to this one, please subscribe, and also I like reading your comments, and feel free to like the video if you like the video. Goodbye.